I think that's the kind of the expectation in the geek universe. Like, people kind of shame you if you don't know literally you know Doctor Who? Oh, you like Doctor Who? What about this? Blah, 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 blah. And then, no, I kind of like Doctor Who. I don't know everything about everything, but I could still, it's not illegitimate for me to just casually like something. So, it's hard. Thank you.
Let's welcome Felicia Day. Yeah!
Hi, everybody. Good morning. We've got some good cosplay here. Oh, my gosh. Happy Father's Day to everyone's a father, too, okay? Because you guys, it's not easy being a parent, okay? So thank you to what you do. Stepping up. Being a dude. Father's Day, being a dude. Felicia Day, quote. I had some whiskey last night, okay? It was one whiskey. I don't drink anymore, and I woke up like I had drunk like 12 drinks. I'm like, I had half a drink. I don't know what's happened to me.
I feel like everyone has that story this morning. We're like, what happened on Saturday?
I don't know. What happened in D.C. on Saturday night? I don't know.
It'll stay in D.C. That's the great part.
Oh, I had a guy say that. What happens to the zip code stays in the zip code. I'm like, what are you doing? Ew. It's like an extra on a movie. I'm like, you need to back away, sir. You are above your pay grade right now. Not really, actually. Anyway, how's it going, Frankie?
What a great intro. It's excellent. We all came in for you. And y'all, just a funny story. I met Felicia yesterday, and we were talking about the panel. I was like, it's going to be packed to the wall. She was like, are you sure? Didn't I tell you?
We have a lot of it doesn't, and then they're like, well, I'm sorry, there's some empty seats over there. No, it's fine. Whoever's here is fine. I've gotten really zen about it. I don't really have an ego. It's like, whoever likes my work likes my work. I'm like, I think, when you're in this like sort of ambitious, like, oh my God, I got to get everybody. I'm like, if you don't have people who actually love you, then you don't. I mean, I learned that on YouTube. It's like, oh yeah, we have a huge audience now. 30% of them hate my guts. I'm like, see yourself to the door, gentlemen. Like, it's all about quality, not quantity for me. And everybody here is pretty awesome, I could tell.
I agree. And you span over so many fandoms. Like, you're part of so many huge fandoms.
I'm like this.
And you're like deep in them too. Like, anyone who's met you, I've spoken to some people who met you, and their first thing is like, Felicia knows her stuff. Like, she's really into
That's why I never claimed to know anything about anime. I was like, I like your shirt. And you were like, oh, look at this website. I'm like, I can't wear this. I don't know enough about, I cannot wear anything Dragon Ball Z related. I don't know anything about the ball or the dragon. Like, we got to just cut it up. Like, there are certain things I have nerd blindness to, and you don't need to know everything about everything. That's the thing. And also, I can't just wear a Dragon Ball Z shirt casually. Yeah, that one's sold out. Will you give me it?
Yeah, I'll just
please out.
Get right off.
Anyway, but I think that's the kind of the expectation in the geek universe. Like, people kind of shame you if you don't know literally you know Doctor Who? Oh, you like Doctor Who? What about this? Blah, 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 blah. And then, no, I kind of like Doctor Who. I don't know everything about everything, but I could still, it's not illegitimate for me to just casually like something. So, it's hard. Thank you.
How did you kind of come into this space? Because I feel like so many of the things that you're in are in the nerd space. Were you like a nerd growing up and then was like, yeah, I'm going to act in it?
I mean, I was homeschooled, so I didn't have any relative sense of other people. Like, I think if anybody was at my panel yesterday, I'm not downplaying this. Like, I never went to a birthday party. I never had a person over at my house. I never did anything that normal kids do. Like, I had nobody but my brother, and we didn't even like each other that much. So there was no relative sense of being anything but just like what I gravitated to. And some of those things were things my parents liked, which they loved reading sci-fi, and they loved, Star Trek and, all those things. But also it's just like, I liked what I liked. And being in a vacuum is good and bad, but I was in a very vacuum. And so I just kind of, until I was like way out of college, I didn't actually realize like, oh, this is weird to like this based on what I look like on the outside, which is dumb anyway, right? So like that's kind of my journey in it. But as far as like cons and fandom and things like that, like it really was being on Buffy that really changed my life there. And that was just like, thank you. And that was just a crazy random happenstance. I auditioned, good one. I auditioned for Buffy, like I auditioned for Angel, actually, and I think they liked me, and they brought me back in the night before they were supposed to shoot. They were auditioning girls for this potential thing in season 7, and I auditioned to be the guest star, the blonde girl, Amanda, who ended up playing that in that episode. And I went, and they had me, I was not that great because I'm not good at auditions, but then they gave me like just some stuff to cold read, and because I couldn't think about it, I was really good. And so I went to my car and I was like, oh, I never got that job, but it was fine. And they ended up hiring me for a girl that was supposed to be an Asian character, who because they couldn't find an Asian actress at that time to play the part the next day. They ended up hiring another one, Chao Ang, I think it was her character's name, the next episode. But anyway, so I ended up playing this random character that had no dialogue because in the script she didn't speak English, right? So they had to give me a couple lines in that first episode. It was so everything is random, but like being in that world, I finally felt like, oh wow, this, I feel like I'm at home. This is a quirky show, and like who I am is being appreciated for the first time in Hollywood. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And then I did a convention with a couple of the other potentials. It was like at the Burbank airport with people from like 1930, It was like people like Mickey Rooney were there. Like, I'm not even kidding. Ernest Borgnine was there, and like it was just like Yama Sumac. Like I could remember like some of these people from like the 1960s, and they were there. And it was this weird signing convention, but I was like, this is so fun. So yeah, that was my first intro into this, world, and I love it so much. I just want to belong, and I think my whole life I haven't felt like I belong, and this is where I feel like I belong. So I'm like, why should I do anything but do things that make me feel like I belong here, right?
I love that. How was that? That sounds so jarring to go from like being isolated and homeschooled to like being at a convention that has like hundreds of people to talk to you individually. I mean,
I had an undiagnosed anxiety disorder for many decades. So, what do you do? Yeah, anxiety is something that's really a core of my being, and I feel finally at the point where I'm like, I can deal with it, but I'm aware of it. And I think the awareness is the thing that I didn't realize for so many years, that I am in an anxious state 24/7. And I didn't know you could go to sleep without your heart racing like somebody was going to kill you. Like, I didn't know it. But you don't, unless someone's really teaching you. And I didn't have a teacher for social, emotional kind of things. I didn't, especially when I was a kid and my particular upbringing, that just wasn't on the menu for teaching. And so, unless you know something's different, you don't know that what you're experiencing can be different. And so that's kind of what my journey has been, especially having a kid. I have a 6-year-old now, and she's like, the journey with her has actually taken me leap years ahead, because I don't want her to endure what I've had to endure, right? And so trying to be on top of my own anxiety so I don't pass that on to her, and then having her have the coping skills so she doesn't like get spiraled for a long time, because it led to a lot of self-defeating in a lot of ways. And like, that's not what my heart wanted, and I'm not my anxiety and all those things. But yeah, it's been truly tough. But on the other hand, I know a lot about a lot of things that most people don't know about. So hey, being isolated, yay, it was weird.
So your daughter, I know she's young. Have you watched anything with her that you're in or voiced?
Oh, God, no. A babysitter once showed her an episode of Nailed It that I was in, and she was like this, and I was like, how dare you? I do not want her to, I don't want her to know anything about fame or anything. Like for me, I'm always like, I'm going to work. I'm going to go to acting work. I'm going to go do some writing work. And I'm really, 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 really about the work. I don't want her to think being famous is fun. It's not. Like, it really, being recognized in a bathroom is not like, this is amazing. You get a certain amount of privilege, but then also with that privilege, it comes like lack of control over your life. Like, you're suddenly living for other people. You're trying to make sure that other people are approving of you. And I think especially as a kid, that's really hard to deal with, because you can leave your body much easier when you don't know yourself. And so, yeah, for me, like, I do tell her I do video game work, and I'm going to go do some writing work or acting work. but I try to emphasize that it is the work that I'm signing up for, and anything else that might be fun or glamorous looking, like it's just, icing. But I hope she doesn't become an actor, you guys. It's so hard. It's heartbreaking. She's like, I'm really proud of her because she's like, no pictures, please. I'm like, great. Good, I'm happy with you. Please don't want to take pictures. There's such a big head over there. What is that? I don't have my glasses on. Hey.
It's a baby. It's a baby face.
That's terrifying, dude.
It's actually terrifying.
I looked over and I was a giant baby looking at me, and I'm like,
oh, and the pug.
Oh no, that's worse.
That's worse. That is definitely worse.
Jesus.
Oh, wait. And the kitty. That's
wow, you got a whole menu over there, buddy.
Leave it at the baby.
I don't know what's just worse, but I want to stop looking at you. Okay.
So, you have so many roles. Do you have one in particular that you really like?
Oh man, it's hard because if you come to my table and you'll see, I have a lot of headshots of a lot of, and people are always like, why don't you have the Eureka one? Why don't you have Magicians? I'm like, I can't fit more roles here. But I really am really lucky that a lot of the roles that have come my way because of the work I've done online, and then showrunners or writers see it and they're inspired to write, some version of what they see in me and have me play. Like that's the way that I've gotten all the ones that I feel people know me from. Anything I've ever auditioned for, it's like, oh yeah, what do you keep holding on? Oh, Eureka. Okay, so we got a Eureka DVD right here. We got a Eureka DVD right here, yeah. That's another one. A lot of the roles that I've done that people know me from have only been supposed to be like one episode guest stars, and they liked what I did so much they would write me in again. Because again, I'm a terrible auditioner. Like I fall apart. It's sad. It's sad to see a person, like I'm like, at a certain point, will I just go to my car and not cry after an audition? Will I ever get old enough for that? No, evidently not. So yeah, I will say that Codex from the Guild is, thank you. A lot of Guild fans here. Codex from the Guild is me, at a certain point in my life when I was really low. And the fact that I was able to channel that depression and anxiety and sort of like not good mental health into creativity is really, and also be able to touch people with that character has been really wonderful. And then Charlie from Supernatural is probably like, yeah. Charlie is such an incredible person, and to see like people of all ages come up and say like how much she has touched them and helped them be themselves more and just laughed with her and made them smile. Like it's so important. Like that's, it's not like we're doing rocket science. We show up, we eat some food, we say some words, and we go home. It's not easy to do emotional stuff on camera. But at the end of the day, like we're all doing work, right? And when we go home, I think when you create something and you're a creator and you make something that's really true to yourself, you're able to communicate something to somebody else that they might not have felt before. And I think that's really, valuable, at least, just as valuable as somebody being a neurosurgeon or whatever. Yeah, okay, we appreciate neurosurgeons more than actors, okay? Any neurosurgeons in them? Nobody? No neurosurgeons, thank God.
I feel like every time I see you come on a show, it's this like fun treat. It's like, oh, Felicia Day's in this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I used to pop up. Honestly, I've done a lot less acting the last several years, and it was really good for me. COVID was not good for anybody, but and we have to take your blessings with your curses, and like just being cut off from a lot of toxic things that I was doing career-wise, like trying to chase things that I didn't really want in my heart was really good. And I haven't done a lot of acting work. I just was in Toronto shooting something. I did an episode of The Rookie. I did an indie feature that'll be out later this year. So I have I'm starting to do more, but I really was turning down stuff for a while just because Charlie was such a great character. And like, it's so hard because Hollywood doesn't know how to write quirky women. They really don't. Like, if you can show me another character like Charlie on TV right now, please tell me because I want to watch that show. And it's just kind of hard because it's very narrow the way that TV portrays people and the way they are and the way they look and stuff. And I think it's gotten way better. But, the world is full of just interesting, wonderful, different people. And I think we have yet to see the breadth of that on television. I think Charlie kind of represents something that is not on TV. So, when I'm offered a role and I'm like, it's just a real estate mother, okay. I'd rather just play video games. Like, I'd just rather be streaming. So, thank goodness I'm able to, just do my own thing a little bit. But, lately I have had some more interesting roles, and I really hope to get into it a little bit more in this next year, just to kind of dip my toe and see, the Charlie standard is high, but I have to have faith that out there are some cool roles that I can do. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. So now's the time. We're going to open it up to the floor. If anyone has questions,
line up orderly. Don't knock people over. Oh, no. Oh, boy. That was a good elbow, lady.
We've been having issues with this mic stand all weekend. Yeah, that's
Uh-oh.
So you can lift it up, lift it down, or that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, wow.
Real business.
Taking charge. I love it. I love your flair, too.
I'm a singer, so,
Okay.
Speaking of which, I'm a homeschooling mom, so I appreciate the challenges as someone who is homeschooled. I do try to keep my kids not in a vacuum. So, there are good ways to do it as well. But I hope there was some positive in that as well, as the challenges. But I wanted to ask you about your musicality. I know you were classically trained in some ways, and I'd love to hear more about that, how it has influenced you over your life, and if you're going to do any projects that include more singing in the future, because my favorite was when you were singing. I mean, I love all your characters, I love all your roles, but I really enjoyed hearing you sing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I got to sing in Dr. Horrible, and that was... DC is like the biggest Dr. Horrible crowd. Like, I'm almost out of Dr. Horrible photos, and Mina, my agent, I was like, what is going on here? I'm like, I don't know. They love Dr. Horrible here in DC, and I love that because that was such a special project. And, I have in the past had such a phobia of singing in front of people that I refused. I did one live taping of, I think it was the Portal song at PAX in 2008. And I had such a panic attack, I almost threw up, and I refused to sing live in front of anybody since then. I feel like I'm better now. Maybe I'm better adjusted, I hope. But the good thing is I do get to sing a lot in animation. Like, I auditioned for a lot of animation, but I was in My Little Pony, and I got to sing a song in that. I played Pear Butter. Don't Google it, because there's some pictures on there. Bronies, you need to calm it down, okay? I'm just a small pony. Me and it's... I got to sing a couple other times in animation, which is really cool. But I would love the opportunity. But, there's not like a million musicals out there. And again, I sadly had to leave the web video world behind. I had to leave my company because I can't really get into details, but it was very emotionally and mentally not good for me, and physically as well, because I was trying to have a baby. I couldn't do it, and it was partially based on a lot of stress. And so in order to, I kind of had to choose between my baby and my other baby, which was Geek and Sundry, and I had to put my baby first. Thank goodness I did. But, leaving that behind, it's less opportunity to just kind of spontaneously make something because video is just a weird thing now. But I would love to find more opportunities for it. And I think I just have to make them myself. Yeah, but I will. And I have a couple of really cool projects coming out that I cannot wait for you guys to see and hopefully support because they're really close to my heart. I'll talk about them later. Next. Yeah. Oh, okay. We have two.
Yeah, 2 lines.
I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
We'll go back and forward. So we'll hear. And
Okay, great. Thank God you're here.
Hi, my name's Chris. I am, in addition to also being a big fan of Dr. Horrible, you have a beautiful voice. But mainly the thing I do know you from is Geek and Sundry, and in particular your appearances on Tabletop.
Yeah, Tabletop.
I was a big fan of Tabletop.
Thank you.
I was wondering
you
if you had a favorite either board game or moment from that show.
So Tabletop is a show that I did with Will Beaton. He and I created it for my company, Geek and Sundry, and I'm really sad that I can't make it anymore. I tried to get the rights back. It just didn't work. And it's too bad because every time I go to the board game store, I'm like, I wish we could make a show on that. I wish we could make a show on that. It really is the show that I really would love to make more of. And I just,
Really wish you could too.
I don't own the rights. I think my company is pretty much shut down. I don't think they're making anything anymore. And it's sad to me, but it is what it is, right? So, but tabletop, again, it would be amazing. I've been playing Isle of Cats, if you guys haven't gotten this. You know what? It's such a good game. It's like Tetris board game, and I play it with my kid. She's actually really good at board games. And, now that she turned 6, I can actually play most games with her, very simplified versions. But, and she's a cheater. Just gonna out her. She's a GD cheater, and I don't know what her deal is, but she's gonna have to wake up one day, but I will definitely give her that blue cat space, but I'm not gonna like it, okay? As far as tabletop goes, there's some amazing highlights, but I think the one where I did, what was the episode? Was it Coup? Where I fooled Will Wheaton into thinking that I wasn't the betrayer?
No, it was the Resistance.
It was Resistance, yes. Oh, the Resistance. Thanks, Cleesmel. And so the fact that I played him so good, and I knew he was underestimating me, and he got bit in the butt for it, it was the sweetest moment of my life. I mean, you don't get over on Will Wheaton. You know what I'm saying? He's a canny man. He's savvy. He could see right through you. He's a good poker player. Not good enough. So thank you. Hey, thank you for that. What's up, Dunder Mifflin? What's up?
Hey, I'm Daniel. I'm originally from DC, moved down to Tennessee, second Awesome Con. I had the good fortune of growing up in high school and doing theater, and I'm fortunate enough to meet my life partner through theater.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That being said, growing up in my house and the house we're currently living in now, I know there were times where, to cope with certain stressors, I go into certain characters, like certain voices, and kind of get kind of different ranges and stuff.
I want to be in your house.
My cat has to deal with it, so ask him. But I was just wondering if there were moments like that you kind of draw some of your inspiration, those kind of stress out moments. I guess how do you cope with those? And if you do have voices, if you those kind of come back to you as you're doing these different voice acting and acting jobs.
I appreciate that. I am not as probably a good an actor as you. I do a wonderfully bad French accent. If you watch any of my streams, anybody watch my my Twitch streams? Yeah, a couple of you. So I love Twitch streaming. I just do it for fun. It's my excuse to be away from my child. Hey, I see a Zabu outfit over here. Are you kidding? That is the Zabu outfit? Are you kidding? That's amazing. Did you get it in there was a PAX auction, right? A charity auction? Pre-COVID. Yeah. I mentally collapsed, and then I auctioned everything off for charity. That's great. No. It was great. I was so grateful that Child's Play charity could take everything from my storage unit, and so I got rid of it. Thank you. This is the real one.
This is awesome.
That has Zabu sweat on it. That's really cool, dude. We have to take a picture downstairs, all right? I'll be at my booth until 3, so come by, please. I have no idea. Oh, yeah, acting. So I do some really bad accents, and when I feed my child breakfast, I'm like, would you like the croissant or would you like the waffle? And she's like, Mama, stop it. Stop it, Mama. Would you like some orange juice? Stop it, Mama. So my bad accents are just to annoy my child, okay? She likes it when I do voices when I read to her, but when I'm just in life, it irritates the crap out of her. And, every mom should have that in their life. So no, I don't escape into myself and do a character, but I certainly get very anxious and become Codex whenever anything goes wrong, because we always have that inner Codex who can't handle anything, right? Or sometimes. Anyway, so thank you for that question. Person over here. Hey, what's up, cutie?
Hi there, people. This is Carly, and my name is Diego from DC. So I was first introduced to your work through a video game, Dragon Age 2.
Oh yeah, Dragon Age Redemption and Dragon Age 2, yeah. Marcus the Assassin.
Yep, love that series. You were great in the DLC. That was my first introduction to you.
Thank you.
But then later on, Supernatural. Love Supernatural.
Thank you, yeah.
I guess my question is, now that Jensen Ackles is voicing Batman, can we expect you in a Barbara Gordon Oracle role in the future?
Ooh, I like the way you think. Can you be my agent? I would love that. I've actually never auditioned for a DC animated character or anything. Sadly, I don't know why. I've done Marvel. I did Mary Jane in one of the Spider-Mans, yeah. I think it's still going, actually. We did 8 or 9 episodes of that. And that was kind of a dream come true because, quite frankly, I didn't really like superheroes as a kid, but I did love Mary Jane. And I was always mad at Spider-Man when he wasn't with Mary Jane. And I always wanted them to kiss, and they never seemed to kiss in the comics. And I only read, like, the comics in the newspaper, right? Like, I never had comic books because my parents just weren't into them. So, yeah, it would be awesome to be a part of the DC universe. I have yet to do that. And, yeah, be my agent. Get me a job, okay? We're about to go on strike, okay? So I'm sure, you know, you will have not very much to do until the fall, but then we can work together. You can pitch me. Barbara Gordon, I love it. Oracle, come on. But anyway, let's talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
You guys could start a Twitter hashtag to get.
Yeah, exactly.
moving.
Let's trend it up. Although if we're gonna choose between franchises for me to be a part of, I'd put the stars above DC. Okay, Star Wars, Star Trek, and then we're getting down to the DC. Okay. All right. If I'm gonna prioritize. Doctor Who, like, there's other franchises we're going to step down, because, what? Oh, dude. Stop. That was who I wanted to be when I was a kid. I really did. And I thought Troy and Riker together was so romantic, but I really had a crush on Picard. And I wanted to be friends with Wellesley. Next Gen was my jam.
You just broke my heart. I'm such a DC girl.
Oh, no. Well, who would you be in the DC universe? Who would you want to be?
Oh, man. I never thought about that.
I mean, you're the moderator. You shouldn't have to think about these things.
Batman, probably.
You want to be Batman?
I want to be Batman, yeah.
I like Batgirl. Like, I'm too old for her now, but Batgirl would have been my prime choice.
She's grown now.
She's grown now? I don't know. Which universe are we talking about? There's like 17 versions of all of them. It's so confusing.
You would be a dope.
They asked me to write Supergirl one time about 10 years ago, and I read 142 issues of it, and I was like, this blonde girl got no problems. I can't deal with her. And my pitch was, she doesn't want to live under the shadow of her, Superman anymore, so she takes the S off and goes to find who she wants to be. I was like, that's a cool arc. And then finally she comes back to it. They're like, no, pass. They were like, we'll call you. And it didn't happen. So it's fine. The comics pay crap. It's fine. Anyway, hi.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I met you at AwesomeCon years ago, so thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me. DC, you're nice. There's a place called the Baked Joint down the street that has the best pastries, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I bought like 8 things and put them in my backpack, and I'm probably going to eat them before I get home tonight. Anyway, what's up?
I grew up watching you through Dr. Horrible and the Guild. My parents, they just...
Thank you, parents, for indoctrinating people into my world.
My dad is in a photo op right now, but this is his question. So in the American History Museum, there's a brand new pop culture exhibit, and your costume from the Guild is there? How do you feel about that?
So, guys, you got to go to the History Museum. I actually, on my lunch hour, took a car there, ran in, took a picture and a video, and I ran out because I was like between things. And I almost cried because you go into the 3rd floor, it's like the pop culture exhibit, and you go in and you go around in the back corner, right? You just see it, and like it's right by the Xena outfit, which is like unbelievable. And then Michelle Yeoh's outfit from the Eternals, and I think one more from Star Trek. Anyway, it's like a display of women in sci-fi and fantasy, and to be up there with my stinky costume that has the worst, like most uncomfortable heels, and like that staff weighs 45 pounds. And I was like, And it's the coolest thing in the world. So they just called me. Thank you so much. They called me because they collect things that are iconic that are in a genre that is not really repeatable, and it's because it was a cross section of web series, which was like early web series and video games and being a woman. Like those three things together made it like there's nothing else like this out there. And so they asked for the donation. I was like, oh my God. And it's amazing. Like I was here 4 years ago when they first got it, and then they put it up again. So, I mean, it'll be in their archives forever. As long as, the museum is there, my things will be in there next to every iconic piece of, thing in the world. It's amazing. So it feels weird, but then, Hollywood will never let you have an ego. So like, about a month after they put it in the collection, I went and pitched a television show with a friend of mine, and their manager was their producer. This dude is great. And I was like, hey guys, I can't wait. And we were about to go pitch into Sony, I think, or something. And they were like, I was so excited. I was like, I can't, I'd love, and my outfit is in the Smithsonian. It's like, don't tell them about that. It makes you seem old. Hollywood, baby. Hollywood. Anyway, true story.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm bitter. Next question.
Hi, I'm Quinn. I am a huge fan of you and Dr. Horrible and Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh yeah, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
And I just wanted to ask about that. Are there any of your favorite horrible movies in that, or the ones that you personally hate?
I wrote on several. Okay, so I got on that show at a con because I was a fangirl, and I saw Joel in a green room, and I walked up to him to take a selfie with him to rub it at my brother's face. That is why I'm on that show. I literally was like, because my brother's a huge fan. It's the one thing as a kid that we actually loved watching together. Otherwise, we'd fight over the TV like cats and dogs. So I was like, oh my God, it's Joel Hodgson. And I was like, I'm going to take a selfie and send it to my brother. And he like got to, he's like, oh yeah, I've seen you, stuff. And then we got to talking. And then randomly, out of the blue, he's like, hey, you want to be in the new show? And I was like, what? I just thought it would be a guest star, But he was like, no, I want you to be the Mad. I'm like, what? And so as a present to my brother, I was like, well, can I write? And he was like, you can write too. And I was like, I'd love to write. Can I write with my brother? So my brother and I wrote on, I think 5 or 6 episodes to this point. And it's like probably the best thing I've ever done with my brother, because it was pretty cool to be able to gift him that and rub his face in it. Both of those things. So anyway, yeah, we did a season for Netflix. They didn't pick it up. We did another season that was crowdfunded. If you guys haven't watched it, I think they're on Tubi, and also they're on the gizmoplex.com. So that's season 14, and they're gearing up to do something new, okay? So over the summer, they have this big campaign to start to try to do season 15. So I hope if you are on the mailing list or whatever, just check it out. I wrote on many episodes, and the worst episode I know this isn't your question, but I'm going to talk about it. It's a show called Munchies, and it's probably the worst movie I've ever seen, except I had to see it 25 times. I had to watch it, and watch it, and watch it. And Dom DeLuise plays a puppet beast. And I hate Dom DeLuise anyway. Like, I'm glad he's in a grave. I'm kidding. I'm sure he's fine. His skeleton's probably hot. It's fine. Dom DeLuise, as a kid, I would see him on Hollywood Squares, and I just hate it when he opened his mouth. I don't know. I had a visceral reaction to Dom DeLuise and El Camino cars. I don't know why these were my trigger things, but as a child, these were the 2 things I could not stand consuming. So having to do a movie, I'm not glad he's dead, okay? I promise that's really mean to say. But I hated this movie so much, and he tries to be funny in it, and it's just awful. And the other writers and I were in the writing room and were just like, my God, why did they pick this movie? And we had to rip it. So anyway, watch that and watch the agony of the writers. It's truly a horrendous film, and you shouldn't have to watch it, but please watch it, okay? Thanks, bye. Hi.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and this is Brenna, and this is Rowan.
Hi.
Hi, and when we met you on Friday, my husband and I, we mentioned that we've had a chance to meet you a few times over the years, first when she was 3.
I know. You're an adult now. You're moving out?
Almost. And so we first were introduced to you via the Guild, but we have also passed down the geekdoms. And
Thank
we
you.
now watch Mystery Science Theater as a family. I think Munchie may have been the first one we showed them.
Did you watch it?
We did.
Oh, it's awful, right? I'm so sorry.
I know. Mac and Me has become one of our family favorites.
Mac and Me is pretty great. I got the flu and I couldn't write on Mac and Me, and that's one of my greatest regrets. I literally had the flu and I was in bed for like 3 weeks.
Oh, no. Well, the question relates to Mac and Me, though. As a family, one thing we quote all the time is, pretty nice. And so we were wondering if you have a favorite quote that you quote with your family, with your daughter.
Oh, wow. No, I'm a really annoying parent, and my acting teacher once told me something that resonates with me literally every day. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And I tell that to my daughter when she's trying to phone in, like cleaning up a plate, and she's going to hate me for the rest of my life for that, okay? But I'm going to tell her that. So I'm not a fun parent. I'm a parent who has lessons and solipsisms and quotes, you know? God, I'm horrible.
Their dad's a child psychologist, so they get that.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah. So I don't really have a quote that we share, but I need to find one, okay? So I'll try to find a fun one. When she's a little older and can watch Mystery Science Theater. I have to tell you, like, even as a child, I realized half of those quotes go over my head, like half the riffs. Like they're just, even now in the writing room, like with Joel pitching things, I'm like, I don't know who that person is. It's a person from like 1940. What's going on? So anyway, that's the cool thing about Mystery Science Theater. Like you get something. Everybody from every point of view gets something. Although I will say, Joel never takes my World of Warcraft pitches. All right, He just doesn't get it. So many Hearthstone like pitches, and he does not take them. Okay, one day. Anyway, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Crystal. I'm sad that I was late to the guild and had to find it like it was. I don't think it was on something. It doesn't matter.
It was on Netflix for a long time, and now I just put it all. It's all for free on YouTube. All the episodes. I even did it all. I put them in playlists, you guys, because I was like, I don't want people not to be able to watch this. You can get the DVDs and watch them as movies and get all the extras, but for everybody around the world can watch the episodes now. So thank you for that.
I would love DVDs because I'm old school and still like having things on hard copy. And it's what inspired me to get your book. And then
thank you.
Reading that and how you went to Juilliard for the violin, and I remembered as a kid, my school was too small to have like a real orchestra. So I didn't pick up a stringed instrument and always wanted to play one, and ended up picking the viola. And when I told someone I was rewatching The Guild, and they were like, "Oh, I always thought the faces you make really reminded me of that character." So ever since then, he's told me I'm Felicia Day if you purchased her from Wish because she plays the wrong instrument.
Ouch, dude!
This person.
First of all, you have naturally curly hair, so you already got an up on me, okay? This took like an hour. Okay. And second of all, that guy sucks.
So yeah, he had, of course, to put in the viola joke as well as I'm not.
Listen, violas are underappreciated but necessary. That's the thing about a viola. They're rare because it's not as sexy an instrument, but there's always room for a viola, and you always need one, all right? So you're like the consummate utility player, and never underappreciate yourself.
Well, I'm terrible because I've been playing like less than a year, but between COVID and all the other things, it inspired me to
You're
try.
doing great. I think that's wonderful because those kind of hobbies are, I'm trying not to turn every hobby nowadays into a profession. I used to hey, I like this, let's throw it on the screen. And thank goodness I don't have a company to be like, oh, I have a new passion, let's make a show about it. It's actually very relaxing just to have something exist to just enjoy. And so
do you still play?
I tried to play, but my daughter says it's quote unquote screechy. So, and I tried to get her into violin, but it's not her personality. And I tried to get her a piano, and I'm hoping that sticks, but it doesn't look like it is. But as long as she doesn't play soccer or any other team sport, I'll be happy, because that would be awful for me.
Well, if you ever need a annoying little sister or evil twin, I am glad to volunteer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, low rep me. Thank you.
Also, your daughter is an icon. I'm obsessed with.
She's really funny. Yeah. I stopped posting photos. I posted some photos when she was really young, but I've stopped now because she's a fully realized person, and I probably shouldn't exploit her for clicks anymore. But it's hard not to because she's damn cute.
Hi, my name is Michai. I've been watching you about 10 years since I started watching Buffy.
Oh, great.
And I saw you as Vi, and I saw Vi, and she was just completely unapologetically weird, quirky. She was unapologetically Vi. And I'm wondering if there was ever a potential show, like a 20, 25 years later show, where the activated potentials were then training new potentials around the world to be Slayers, would you go back to the Buffyverse to be Vi again?
I mean, I would love that. I love my character, and I actually, in the original Dark Horse comic series, Vi was the head of the New York Slayers. So in canon, or at least one, I think they rebooted it with Boom, and it's a whole new storyline now, but the original canon, I actually am the head of the New York Slayers, training people. And like, obviously, as I get older and I have a kid of my own, like, I love the idea of training and mentoring somebody younger and helping them with all the things I've been through, because I feel like that relationship, you don't see that as with women especially. Like, we're always just fighting each other, and older women having to move out of the way for younger women to ascend. And I think that's sort of a male hierarchy, patriarchal bullshit. Excuse my language. I have a new project coming out, and it's going to be announced at the end of this month, and it's going to come out in the fall. And it's literally, guys, I've been working on it for 5 years, and it's my heart. It's like I put everything into it, and it has a very strong core mentor relationship with, my character and a younger girl, and I'm really excited. I really hope you like it. I hope you pre-order it when it's announced. It would be amazing. But just know that, like, for me, like, that is really important going forward, to not only appeal to people who like my work, but like try to extend my hand to younger, nerds and younger weirdos and younger geeks, because it's like, what can we do? We could just help them go through whatever journey that we had a rocky road for and just make it a little easier. Like, that's our greatest gift that I can give myself, because that kind of attitude really just makes the world better. So yeah, I would love to be the head of the New York Slayers again. Also, living in New York is badass. Like, I've never done it. Like, yeah, I like walking. Sign me up. Be my agent. Get with my agent over there, and then we'll work on this spinoff, okay? Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Hi. What's up?
Hi. I'm Mero, and I'm just such a big fan of your work, especially Supernatural. I cosplayed Charlie once, but no one knew who I was.
Wow, they suck.
Right? They thought I was Daphne.
What?
Yes, like the Scooby apocalypse.
Okay, whatever.
But I'm planning a Kids on Bikes campaign for my friends, and I wanted to ask about your experience on Kolak 1991. And
Kolak. That was amazing. I mean, my relationship with RPGs is very complicated. Tabletop was actually supposed to be a D&D game, so I'll start with that. I started playing D&D. My mom got us all the books as a kid, and I read them all, but she wouldn't let us play because she thought that it would make us devil worshippers. I'm not kidding. My mom's a little poo-poo. If you read my book, she's lovely, but okay. So cut to later when I joined a sketch comedy company, there was a core people, the head of the theater was a DM for this group of people, and for 4 years on and off, I would play in his game, and at a certain point, I was driving 45 minutes each way on a Sunday to play, and it was literally the highlight of my week. Like, I had some characters that I'd loved so much. We did 2 different campaigns, 2 different characters, and so I loved RPGs. So when I got Geek and Sundry and they wanted me to pitch shows to them, I was like, well, Will needed to be a DM, and we're going to do, basically, and I'll be one of the players and stuff. I was like, hey, will you be a DM? And he's like, what about tabletop? And we went into a different direction because his passion is really, he loves DMing, but he loves board games, and I really love what we did with it. But later, when I started streaming on Twitch to sort of find myself again, and then I loved Twitch so much, I was like, we got to start a Twitch company. The bosses did not want to do it. I was like, you're doing it anyway. I really want to do it. I feel passionate. I convinced them to, and then that's how Critical Role happened, because I was on Supernatural at the time. I couldn't be in the game. I was going to do a guild one, but I was like, I can't commit to being there every week, and we need consistency. My friend Ashley Johnson knows a bunch of voice actors she does it with. Voice actors live in LA. Let's just have them do it. That's literally how it happened. And so I just trusted they would be amazing. Obviously they were. They were able to spin off after I left and become what they did. So, and it feels weird to be involved in the RPG community, because I started them, but like when I do, it's weird. I'm weird. But anyway, I'm asked to guest star on a lot of things, which is very fun. And that is one of my favorite ones because I played such a wackadoodle. That's a really fun campaign. Definitely check it out if you can. It's a really cool system and like a sort of like a anarchical, like 80s kind of vibe. And it's really, really fun. So thank you for asking me about that. That was not the answer you wanted. It was very wandering and whatever. Anyway, I love RPGs. We tried to do the Guild RPG and we did it over COVID. It was really fun, but it just wasn't commercial because Jeff Lewis kept being extremely profane, made me drop so many F-bombs. We just literally could not keep it like family friendly. And I was like, I can't, this is not commercial. Let's just stop. And then everybody started flaking when COVID stopped. But, classic the Guild. So, I would love to somehow be on a bigger, platform doing like an RPG arc at least, but at least doing really cool guest stars like that was really fun. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Unfortunately, this is the last question.
Last question. I'm sorry. That answer was so long. I really apologize. This is my fault. You can punish me.
But you'll be at your table till 3 p.m.?
Till 3:30. I have to go to the airport because I've been gone for 3 weeks. I was shooting something in Toronto. I've been away from my kids for 3 weeks, and it's really painful. So I want to thank everybody who stopped by, especially with their children, because you really have put a smile on my face that hasn't been here for a couple weeks because I've been away and missing my family. And so thank you. You feel like family, and it feels really good to be able to be here, bridging the gap between that job and home. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you. Last question.
I thought the one before me was the last question. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, okay. You want to do it? Just do it. What are you going to do? No, Frankie want to attack you?
Yeah, no, I was saying you're the last question.
Oh, okay. So you gained a lot of fans from stuff you did online, and you also gained like a lot of fans from more mainstream things like, Supernatural and Buffy and all that. So do you notice like a difference between fans that know you from film and television and the fans that know you from things like Dr. Horrible or The Guild? And like, is there an overlap, or is it like kind of two?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would definitely say Supernatural fans lean more toward female, and if just like they're more male, like gamer fan. I think there's a little, but it's not that much. I know that there's a lot of overlap. I think that people who kind of grew up with the videos are more like, hey, what's up? Hey, your hair looks weird today. You okay? Versus like, oh my God, you're in Supernatural. Like, I think when you see somebody from TV, you're removed from them a lot. But the cool thing I like is being just a regular dude. I have the same problems, especially if you follow me on my Discord or like, Twitch. You're just hanging out and you're saying, there's no fantasy. I mean, Jensen Ackles is great. He farts like everybody else, guys, But you don't see that when you're not like seeing them through a character. And so for me, I always like being authentic. I like being real. Like I pay my, it's like I'm trying to, figure out what car to buy. I'm trying to get my kid to school. Like I'm trying to figure out how often I should need to wash my hair. Like I'm just like everybody. And everybody is like that. It's just, I like to show my warts more. And that's why I love doing stuff online. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different attitude. But the minute somebody comes up to me, they're like, oh yeah, she definitely needs to wash her hair. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here, supporting me, and I will hopefully say hi to you downstairs. Thank you.
Hi, this is Maisie Richardson-Sellers, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be a legend and hit that like button, and most importantly, have fun and follow your fandom.